Well, Venetia Williams, freshman expert bit of curtain pulling there. Monmouth, only £7 higher than last year. Is that a very late Christmas present?
Well, I think we're looking for an Easter present actually, rather than a Christmas present. No, I mean, one has to be content with what he's done, but at the same time, I mean, he's only £3 off top weight, which in the grand scheme of things, it may be the difference between winning and losing in a close finish. It's not the difference between running a good race and not.
And preparation-wise this season, he has shown that although he was a 100-to-1 winner, he wasn't a fluke winner. His performances have been very solid. You must be thrilled with the way he's going towards Aintree this term.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with him, and he runs this Saturday at Haydock in the Haydock Gold Cup, a race that he's run in and he's been placed in before. Hopefully, if he runs a good, encouraging race, you know, that'll augur well for April.
Well, Paul Nicholls, you've been very honest in the past that with the Grand National you spent most of your time chasing horses around Merseyside. But this season you have the Grand National favourite, a horse that many people think is a real Grand National winner in the making, Tricky Trickster, and you must be very happy with Phil Smith's reaction to his win at Newbury.
Yeah, he's gone up £3. I can see he'd go up a lot more really if you look at the weights and one thing and another, and you know, obviously after Denman departed Saturday, put a different complexion on the race. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, I think there's loads of improvement in the horse yet, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
I mean, many people were particularly impressed by his jumping at Newbury. He looked like a horse that would go around Aintree, touch wood, no trouble. He looks an ideal national type.
Well, that's why he was bought. Obviously, he won the 4-miler last year. To be honest with you, that's the first time he'd actually jumped fences at Saturday, while running at Cheltenham last year. He'd done loads of schooling with me in a school, and he'd obviously run over hurdles, but because the ground had been so frozen, we hadn't been able to risk schooling him over fences at home. So I was really pleased with his jumping, as was Ruby, the way he stayed on. And, you know, that was all still in the scheme of things. To me, each run he has is bringing him on, and, it was a good run.
And Paul, from last season's race, we've got My Will and Big Fella Thanks. Both ran fantastic races. They've been there, they know it, and again, they've got fair chances again at the weights.
Yeah, My Will's been out of form a little bit. I mean, I often think some of these horses, their first time round Aintree is their best time, made a few mistakes. You know, I'm open-minded to how well he ran when he goes back there, and he has been out of form. Big Fella Thanks, I mean, you know, he's been sharing joint favouritism with Tricky before Saturday. He ran a nice race Friday at Newbury. He didn't fall and he just stumbled on landing at the second last. He's actually gone down £3, so I'm well happy with that. He's got a nice weight, and I've trained him again all season for the National in mind. He'll now go to Newbury on March the 5th for another 2.5-mile race, because we're just, you know, Ruby's very keen on using 2.5 mile to sharpen him up and not go too far with him. You know, I wouldn't split him in Tricky at all.
Really?
No, I wouldn't, and nor would Ruby. I mean, he actually said to me Saturday, "You've just set me another puzzle."
Really?
So, you know, see what happens between now and then, really. But I'm very happy with what's happened with both of them. One's gone up 3, could have gone up 7 if we wanted, but I can live with that. And the other one going down 3 is a bonus.
And Taranis and Nozick complete your quintet. Would those two be likely possible runners?
Nozick's a definite runner. He won't run before that. We're going to keep him fresh. He goes well fresh. You know, he's obviously been a little out of form, although he did run okay on his first run. It's been his target all season. Taranis is going to run in the Gold Cup first, and he's the one who's got a question mark. I'm just going to see, you know, how he comes out of the Gold Cup having had an injury, and it might be that Mrs. Yeoman might prefer to wait for another year. So, you know, I always wanted to enter him, but he's one that's not set in stone by any means. We'll have to see what happens after Cheltenham.
Well, Harry Finley, Paul Nicholls, your trainer, says that he can't split Tricky Trickster and Big Fella Thanks to National, even though one's favourite and one isn't. Would you be as optimistic as he is about the Big Fella?
Yeah, I think so, really. You know, the only doubt for me is the way to me, certain horses quicken away from the fences a little bit quicker than he did last year. And there was a trainer thought that perhaps with his quirkiness as a novice, remember Taunton, things like that, that maybe first time round the national course would be the best time to catch him. But then, you know, I think where Paul's getting that from is basically, I think Ruby was quite happy with him at Kempton, and on the eye I was quite happy with him. I thought he was closing when he fell, and of course Paul would have found out as well that he's been knocked down £3 for that. So I think all in all, I think it's a fair assessment really. Yeah, I think Ruby was pleased with him at Kempton. Paul has solely trained him just for this one race. I think the next race will be over 2.5 miles at Newbury on the 5th of March. So all things considered, yeah, and I guess that Ruby will probably There's no problem with jockey for us, of course, because it will be Ruby or Christian, I'd imagine. And Christian's ridden him before a lot, and so Ruby will have the choice, I suppose, after he rides him, and maybe he might go for Tricky Trickster, but either way, we'll be happy.
And Harry, you're a man that knows form better than anybody else. Looking at the race as a whole, are there any other names that jump out as you as horse that you'd like to have on your side for the National?
No, to be honest, just watching Niche Market on Saturday, I was watching Denman fence by fence and giving him points out of 10, especially with AP being on board and all the hoo-ha and everything. And I suppose looking at the race, I was very happy till when I came to the cross fence. I kept thinking all the way through the race that I was really impressed with Niche Market and what a great trial he was riding, re the National. But when you look back at the replay, maybe Denman should have been a bit further clear, and maybe the others were a little bit closer than I thought after the fifth last. But certainly it was a great trial from Niche Market. I thought he was gubbed on the line, as they say, and those two. I don't know. Did Niche got £3 or £4? I suppose.
Niche went up 4, Tricky Trickster 3.
3, yeah. Yeah, I'd say at those weights and all that, and how they run last week, I'd say Big Fella's got the best of it on the weights.
Well, Graham Regan, a very lucky man, owner of Niche Market, a mark of 152 and 11 stone 4. I guess you're probably pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, I am. I think I'm happy that there's 3 joint top weights, which hopefully will keep the weights where they are. I think we know our fella carries weight because he's done it twice around Cheltenham in the 4-miler. Once very well, once not so well. But he jumps and gallops and he can carry weight. And obviously everybody here would want a smaller weight, but you've got to go with what you're given. But I think he's an ideal candidate. I think there's possibly going to be £6 between the top and about £9 at the bottom of the handicap, and we'll take that any day of the week.
And Graham, ever since you won the Irish National last season, has this been pretty much the dream, the plan?
I'll be honest with you now, that the Grand National terrifies me. As an Irishman, I'd love to win at Cheltenham, but we don't have a Gold Cup horse, we've got a Grand National horse, so you have to cut your cloth accordingly. The people who train the horse, the lads in the yard, people who are respecting racing, who I don't even know, have come up to me and said we've got a great chance at the National. So you have to have a go, haven't you? It's as simple as that.